Welcome back to episode 3. This one's called The Pants That Changed My Business Plan, but really why 80% beats perfection. So I want to show you something. These are my backup jeans, the ones I had in my closet for like the bloated days. And I remember there was one time I pulled them up, tried them on, they wouldn't button. I couldn't get them to like pull up all the way. I felt like my muffin top was like hanging over the top. And so like my brain started spiraling. I'm like, how did this happen? I was like, shit, I'm gonna start over Monday. Um, and then, a couple months later, I tried my bathing suit on, my bikini on the beach, and I was like, I don't like the way I feel in this. And just that kept going. But it just kept going. So it spiraled. I had this all or nothing mindset of if I'm not perfect, then I'm going to totally restrict. I'm going to be perfect on every single thing I eat. I'm going to watch every single calorie. There was so much discipline and honestly, so much guilt coming through. There was no middle ground. But then I would spiral the other way and I would just go off the deep end and eat whatever I want. And it was just exhausting trying to keep up with my own self between being perfect and just not caring what I'm doing. So I remember thinking, like, what's the point? Am I ever going to actually see results? I would miss a workout, totally spiral. If I fell off on the weekend, I would eat one meal off and then the whole weekend, like all the pizza, all the drinks, all the things. And I would start over Monday. I felt like there was this constant pressure that I had to be perfect or it wouldn't work for me. Okay. Maybe you can relate. If you are following a system like that, honestly, it's too rigid for real life. It's not realistic and it's not going to work for you. So let's talk about the shift that will change it for you so you don't have to live in that restriction mode forever. Because truthfully, the people, my clients that get results, the people in general that get results, none of them are perfect. They're flexible. They have cheat meals. They're not eating grass. They're not eating like a rabbit, but they are overall 80% consistent. And every time that is going to beat 100% perfection for one week if you are 80% consistent for the rest of the year. Okay. Gives you room to live. It also feels like you can breathe when that thought comes in place and you're much more likely to keep showing up. So let's talk about what 80% consistent actually looks like. It means that you are eating well most of the time. Yeah, that's vegetables and lean protein and healthy fats, and yes, carbs too. When you go out to eat, you enjoy your meals. There is no guilt, but you get back on track. You can miss a workout and adjust, maybe make it up the next day instead of like restarting the entire plan. So when you feel that, you realize, hey, nothing's wrong. Life is going to happen. You are just going to keep going and adjust, but not restart. We just kind of keep moving through our lives. So why does this matter for your results when you are trying to look for weight loss? It gives you less pressure because you're not going to be perfect. No one is expecting you to be. You're much more likely to be consistent. You're much more likely to not have to restart fully and do a full reset. And your body is going to respond because you're not swinging between like that big extreme of being perfect to just not giving a crap about what you're eating. And your body's going to feel more calm. It's going to feel like you have more control over your results. And what you will actually see is that your body finally responds. So here's my story. I didn't need another reset. I needed a rhythm, like a just a life structure that was realistic and I could actually keep up with, right? So I want you to think to yourself, like, if that hits home for you, what if you stopped starting over and you just stayed in? You kept going instead of giving up. Okay. So I want you to like think about that for a second. I I really want you to see success. Whether we work together or not, I am here to support you. And if this series showed you anything, I hope your takeaway is that you don't need to be perfect for it to work. Okay. It's a lot easier, truly, to stay consistent when you're not doing it alone, when you get that support, you get that feedback, you know someone's watching what you're eating. So let's talk about that for a second. I know because I have worked with many, many women, a lot of the time we focus on the food and we focus on the workouts, but you might not focus on that mindset piece, the part we're talking about like right now in this episode, that all or nothing mindset, that pressure, that restarting, That mindset is just as big of a reason of what's keeping you stuck. So we talk about mindset too inside my coaching program. We go a lot into it. In fact, in the very first module, we start talking about like, well, what happened in the past that makes you show up like you are today? Those influence your habits. Those influence how you show up every day. And then when you are trying to live your life, of course, the mindset piece is just as important as the diet, as the exercise, as all of these things. So if you are ready to stop that restart loop, I'm going to go ahead and drop my application below. If you feel so inclined, I encourage you to apply. I would love to support you in this program so you can actually see results but also be realistic and live your life too. Because chances are, just like me, you have kids, you have work, you have things going on that it's just hard to stay perfect. You just have to stay in it. You don't have to be perfect. That's the truth. So I'm really looking forward to connecting with you, with chatting with you more. Click that link below. Go ahead and apply. You will be so glad you did. See you inside.